Welcome to In Conversation. If you know anybody in the entertainment industry or who's interested or who's already participating, tell them to tune in to our Facebook page, share this, like us, give us lots of love. You will not want to miss this conversation. This is the first time in the history of the studio, and by the way, we are celebrating our 30th year this year. You will not want to miss this In Conversation. As I said, it's the first time we've ever had a publicist speak at the studio. And what a publicist we have. She is a publicist to the A-list and has been in the business, we're going to say seasoned.
Okay.
We're all seasoned. We're all using the word seasoned.
Okay,
now.
good.
We're all seasoned. We've been around more than a year.
Right. Yes.
And we've known each other more than a year.
That's for sure, yeah.
In any case, she loves actors. She loves what she does. She is, in her nature, a caretaker and is a genius at marketing, but does all this in a very humble way. So it is my delight to welcome to the studio a partner at True Public Relations, Cece Yorke. Let us begin with your story. How did you come to be?
Well, I don't know if it's that interesting of a story, but I started off where all of you started. I started off studying acting, actually, when I was in college. And I said to my teacher, my acting teacher, I remember saying to him, you know, my parents really don't want me to do this if I'm not going to get an A in your course. And he said, well, you're actually getting a B. So I thought, I think that's a sign. But through all of it, I realized what I really liked was working with actors, being a part of a group, being a part of the creative process. But I really enjoyed sort of helping people put it out there, you know, of what their talents were and what was exciting for them. And so after I graduated, I'm from Los Angeles. I came back. I worked as a production assistant. I worked for a management company, a very big management company. They had huge actors and actresses. And I met Publicists, and I went, wow, I found what I want to do. And then the rest was history. That was really like my first job that I stuck with longer than 2 years, and I've been doing it ever since. But I started off thinking that I wanted to do what you all do. So I really admire all of you for going after this and following your dreams with this, because I started off on this side.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We will be asking questions that have been submitted. We will also be taking questions from Facebook. And greetings to our studio in Australia. It's Sunday morning there.
Good day.
So yes, wake up and send us some questions. Great coffee in Australia.
Yes.
Great coffee. What does a publicist do? Because I think there are going to be people here who don't really know.
Well, you know, publicists are also, or used to be called press agents. So anything really to deal with the press, whenever you see somebody that's on the cover of a magazine or on a talk show or speaking at a public appearance, maybe that they're not being paid for, anything that falls outside of the realm of what your agent would be booking you, a paying job, that's really what falls under the domain of a publicist. But I won't say it's just that. We've been known to find birthday presents on a moment's notice, order flowers.
What are some of the odd things you've found yourself doing?
Gosh, I can't even begin. Tracking down designers in the middle of the night, tracking down dermatologists before people are going on an award show because they have a blemish that magically appeared and someone needs something fixed. So it goes, it's multifaceted.
So have you gotten involved with hairstyles, with wardrobe?
Absolutely. It's a very big part of what we do. We consult on that. So wardrobe is a big thing when clients are doing a magazine shoot or a fashion shoot on a talk show. Yeah, we're involved with hair and makeup, wardrobe. We work with the top hair and makeup and wardrobe stylists. We work with designers. So that's a big part of what we do, sort of the image of what our clients put out there.
And how do you go about determining someone's image?
I'd like to say we don't really determine their image. I'd like to think that our clients determine their own image, and then once they do, we work with that and really help to enhance that. But our clients are very diverse, and so what would be right for one hair and makeup person or those people would be right for one client, and they won't be right for another one.
So is that something you've built over the years, a resource network of who to go to in the different areas?
Yes, absolutely. And also, we're constantly developing that network. So we're trying to stay ahead of the curve of who are the next great artists that our clients should be working with.
We will take questions from Facebook. We will be submitting these questions to you that were written out for me. We ask you to like our page, give us hearts, share the page, and just so you know, Ian and Becky are sitting right here with signs telling me to say that.
Oh, good. That's what they're doing.
That is what they are doing. Let's take it to something that everybody in this room has to deal with, which is a headshot. What makes a great headshot? What do you think?
Well, I think the headshot has evolved from sort of looking surly in a black turtleneck with a white background. I think it's evolved from that. And I think that what used to be a traditional headshot, where we would say it was head and shoulders, I see much more where it's more 3/4, and headshots used to be black and white, and now they're in color. So I think what really determines a good headshot is that it really resembles who you are, that it is not face-tuned to death, that you look like some kind of scary mannequin. I think that also really good lighting, that you're working with a great photographer that's really able to capture the essence of who you are.
Great.
Yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions about publicists?
Well, let's see. That we can scrub anything from the internet. We can't. So if it's out there, it's out there. So you can count on it. I think also that people think I would be able to get them an agent or, get them a job or that kind of thing. We're actually the people that work with you after you have your agent and after you have your job. Then you're able to write the check to have a publicist, because we're paid, monthly. We're not part of the percentage that agents and managers take.
When does somebody need a publicist?
Somebody needs a publicist when they have something that they really want to promote. And, here's the thing. In this town, you will always find somebody that you can write a check to that will take it. They'll take your money and they'll do nothing for it. So you really want to make sure that if you're going to make that kind of investment, that it's something that you're going to see a return on. So basically what publicity should be doing for you, my partner and I always, my partner Marcel, who's so amazing, we always say to new clients, this is the other half of your job. So once you've done all the acting, it's on film, or you're up and running in the theater, whatever you're doing, the other part of your job is to publicize it and to really put it out there so you get as much exposure from it that it will propel you into the next thing, and hopefully the next thing, and the next thing, so you keep writing checks to us and paying your publicist. That's really, and helping your agents to get you the next thing. So that's what a publicist should be. That's the goal, really, of publicity. I mean, it's very nice to have all the accolades and the photos and looking great, but it's really, especially at the beginning of your career, it's about helping you to propel you to the next thing. So,
have you ever taken an actor in an ensemble piece and helped them get some attention? Let's say it's a large cast, a CSI or something of that sort.
yes, I have. We mutually have, actually, as you know. So Howard and I share a client, and I don't know, I hope I'm not dating myself here, but Heather Locklear from Melrose Place, who is a phenomenal actress. She's amazing and was in a big ensemble cast with Melrose. And Howard really, worked with Heather, and like we've said,
We still do.
We still do, yeah.
Isn't that the best, the long-term relationships?
It is.
So when you look at a client, do you look at that, is this somebody that I can work with over the long haul?
That's absolutely our goal. Our clients, most of my clients, I've seen them through, weddings, babies, divorces. It goes on and on.
Divorces.
Exactly. So, yes, they're a part of our family. They really are.
What should actors look for when they're meeting a publicist, in the Publicist?
Well, one, I think you have to have a connection. Absolutely. It's like anything. You want to be able to feel like you can speak freely and be honest with them. You have to be honest. If you're going to be honest with anyone on your team, it has to be your publicist, because if there's things that we should know about that you don't want out there, or things that we should know about that you do want out there, we kind of have to know the whole picture. So I think really somebody that you trust, somebody that has experience, that has connections, and that you really connect with, and that they're, for me anyway, I think it would be to be very you want somebody that will be very honest and forthcoming, because just somebody telling you what you want to hear is never, in anything that any of us do, it's never going to get, in this business, it will never get you where you want to go.
I'm going to try a question from the audience here. If I call you, please stand so Cece can see who you are. This is from Mickey.
Hi, Mickey.
I've recently experienced some newfound success in theatrical voiceover. Are there specific strategies to publicize voiceover bookings versus bookings in live action?
That's a really good question. We certainly have had clients that have done animation or voiceover for commercial work, that kind of thing. I think that as far as where you would put that out there, again, on your social media, on your YouTube, to sort of showcase that. But in terms of actual publicity, that we would say mainstream publicity, if that was strictly the only genre that you were working in, it's a little more difficult. But I would say using your social media and to be able to put that out there, because it is such a gift to be able to do voiceover work, and people that can do it. It's really, I know how difficult it is, and it's really a gift that you have to be able to do that.
This is from Jesse. Okay. What advice would you give a determined creative that may not be able to afford to hire a publicist or agent?
Well, I would say if you have something to promote that you're working on currently, but it isn't something that, say, the mainstream media is going to latch on to. Right now, we're in such an amazing time for being able to kind of self-promote yourself through social media. There's small podcasts that talk about the entertainment industry, smaller podcasts, I should say, or online web series, those kind of things, where you're able to talk about your projects and put it out there. And really, a lot of what we do is about perception. So if you're able to kind of garner one of those things, you can parlay it into something that makes it seem actually bigger than it is. So if it's a podcast with 15 people, believe me, nobody else knows it's 15 people. So you're able to sort of put that out there. My first interview, again, with photos, I think keeping your Instagram really fresh and not getting bogged down with taking too many photos of your entree. You know what I mean? So I think that it needs to be that it's photos of you looking incredible, or if it's a 30-second video, if it's you have other talents in addition to acting, if it's dance, if it's singing, that you're just showing that, but really making sure that I know that like social media is all, for some of us, it's all about it's what you're eating or what incredible vacation you've been on, or whatever it is. But for all of you, this should be a marketing tool for you. And I think you'll agree, more people in my industry look at social media before they hire somebody. Our clients, the numbers matter, but it also matters what's on there.
What are the do's and don'ts besides putting your favorite foods?
Well, putting your favorite foods, listen, I would not get, well, everybody's political at this point. We can't help it, can we? But I think that I would keep it as close to about you.
Cece represents Bill Maher.
Right, so I can't say that to Bill. That's I can't say, don't put anything political. But I think that it's really your social media should be great photos of you and exposing you as an actor, as an artist, as a performer, and keeping it fresh. Don't let it go dead for too long. You never know who's watching your social media. Really, you don't. We have a client who is a brilliant comedian and is also a fabulous writer. And he started off on Twitter, and his name's Rob Delaney, and what he's able to do in so many characters, it's nothing short of genius. And he, started to have followers and more followers, and he got a book deal, and then a series with Amazon called Catastrophe that he writes and stars in, and he happens to be a very talented actor too. So being able to you're so fortunate that you're able to use these different outlets to really put your talents out there. And you don't know who's watching. You never really know. So you want to keep it fresh, and you want to keep it looking great and consistent, that it's something that people want to continually come back to.
I notice there are some people who post constant workout videos, and I think, are they pursuing an acting career, or is it?
Or are they,
Yeah, looking for a fitness contract.
Right.
And I know I heard one manager was telling a former student to take almost half-naked pictures to get more followers, and what do you think of that? Half-naked
pictures? No, I don't think that any, unless that's the kind of work you're getting into, I would say.
We try to draw the line at porn here.
Right, exactly. So I think that's, I don't think that that's necessarily necessary, as we say. But I think that, here's what I do want to say, that anything, even if you think your account is private, it's not. So I really want to stress this to all of you, because all of you are going to be calling me. Maybe next week you're going to need a publicist, or 5 years from now. But you keep my name, keep my number, because when you come in, I'm going to say to you, why did you post that photo? Well, it was on private. Nothing is private. Nothing is private. If it's on the internet, it's out there. So I really can't stress this enough, because if you're in this to win it, and I'm assuming if you're, if you're students of Howard, you're going to be going somewhere, or you're definitely on your way. Really take care of what you're putting out there on social media, because even if you have all the security measures in place, it will still be out there. I really can't stress that enough.
It leads to a question from Ian. How much of a publicist's job is damage control? We're shaping an actor's current image versus creating new opportunities.
Well, we definitely do damage control. We do. We have incredible clients, I have to say. They are citizens of the world. They're great humanitarians, but no matter what, you live long enough on this earth, we've all stumbled, things have happened, it's going to happen. And now we live in a world where we're under a microscope, so everything you do is followed by somebody's watching, so it's going to happen. So a good deal of what we do is damage control, but we're able to handle it. That's really the truth. And we live in a world now where what's the news today, Donald Trump says something, and then you're off everybody's off.
That is affecting you, isn't it?
Yes, it's very helpful on occasion. It does help us. Yeah, no. Or, something will happen, and so news moves very quickly. That's the good and the bad of it, Yeah.
We will take questions from Facebook. We will take questions from our live audience. Please like our page. Please give us hearts. Please share us. Please make us popular. We so want to be popular. Brooklyn. Where's Brooklyn? Yeah. Okay. Honestly, though, is there such a thing as bad press? Honestly.
Honestly, yes. Are you kidding? Of course. Yes, there is such a thing as bad press. And it goes back to, what I was saying, where you make a misstep with a photo or saying something or tweeting something or putting, something out there. And like I said, it happens to everybody. But yeah, there is such a thing as bad press. How you parlay it into the next thing, and if you learn from it and you're able to grow from it, then I'd say it's a good thing if you're able to do that. Yeah.
You don't take everybody that you interview. What makes you want to work with somebody or not want to work with somebody?
Well, believe it or not, I have actors that come in when we're taking a meeting, and they'll say to me, Cece, I don't like photo shoots. I don't want anybody to interview me. I don't like talk shows, and I don't want to say anything about my life, and I don't like to talk about my work. And I said, well, really? You just want to write me a check? I don't know what I can do. So I think that we want to have people on our roster that you don't have to love a photo shoot, but you have to get that it's part of your job. You need to do it, love it or hate it. And I guess when I'm sitting there, as much as people are interviewing us, I'm interviewing them too. Well, just to make sure that they have a story to tell, or a story that they want to tell. I don't like my clients to give up anything about their personal lives because that they don't want to. Some clients are an open book. They're everything. But some clients don't want to. Privacy is very important. So where do they draw the line at that kind of a thing? But just that, I think that people understand that this is the other half of their job and that they're going to show up and be present when they need to.
This is from Chris. I have a movie opening in theaters in April, and it's my biggest part in a larger theatrically released movie. I don't have a big name, but the other actors do. What could I do to make sure that I maximize my opportunity to get my name out there? What should I look for in a publicist to help get exposure? How much should I spend? Thank you for being here.
Chris, can you tell us a little bit about what the movie is, or is it top secret?
It's no. It's a movie called Corbin Nash. It'll be out April 20th. It'll have a release in theaters. It stars Corey Feldman is in it. He plays a cross-dressing vampire. Malcolm McDowell's in it. Rutger Hauer. The lead, Dean Jagger. I play his partner. We're cops in the movie.
Great. Okay. And is it a studio, or is it going on? Is there a studio that's? When's it coming out? Or?
It comes out April 20th this year.
Uh-huh.
After AFM. Well, I don't want to say. I don't know the exact logistics or who, but they got distribution.
Oh, they did get distribution.
It'll be released in theaters, limited, but across the United States,
Yeah.
and then Netflix or
One of those.
One of those.
Great. Well, I would find out who the distributor is, and then I would call that Publicist up and say, I know, you have other stars or whatever, but I wanted to let you know if there's anything that I can do, I would be very happy to be a part of any of that. And if there are invitations, if they're going to be having screenings or those kind of things, I'd ask to be put on the list to be able to attend those. And when you were doing the movie, was there a photographer on set? So
Yes.
I would ask if she would mind, she or he mind getting you some of the unit art if they were there on the days that you were shooting, so the unit art is what that person was taking pictures of, and if there's some stills of you, if you could get those to be able and say you'll blast it out on your social media and do whatever you can that way, and good luck. I think that's really exciting. And how long ago did you shoot that?
2 years in March.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You're on your way.
I got season acting in college.
Oh, good.
He's doing better now.
You stuck with it.
He sure did. This is from our faculty member, Marilyn McIntyre. There she is. Who's off to Australia. I hope Australia's up and sending us some questions. What do you recommend for marketing a full-fledged character actress with serious New York and LA credits, but not in the last 10 years? Credits, but not big ones since 2010.
Well, for a serious character actress, I mean, there certainly are publications. This is something for everyone to consider too, is to be your own publicist. Do your research, get on Google. Google can be your best friend, and put in articles about character actresses. Put that in the search. Put in, articles about vampire movies, what sci-fi kind of, or vampire sites there are, whatever it is, and familiarize yourself with those writers and reach out to them and say, here's what I've been doing. My last big gig was in 2010, and now I'm going to Australia to teach, to teach acting there, and here's what I've been doing. And write your own bio. You guys create your own story. You are you decide where your story is going to go and where it's going to take you. But you've got to do the research. You've got to put the work into it also, and really find the writers that you like. And if you like them, send them a note and say, I really enjoyed. I can't tell you how much writers appreciate that. They put so much blood, sweat, and tears into all these articles. And for those of you that are writers, it's painful being a writer. It takes a lot out of you. So even sending a note to say, I so enjoyed your piece on, character actors of the 90s or whatever it was, and I just wanted to let you know how much I enjoyed it. It goes a really, really long way with people.
That's great life advice. A bit of gratitude, period.
Oh, always. Yes.
Thank you.
Right.
You're welcome.
Please like our page. Please give us hearts. Please share it. Everybody you know who's interested in the entertainment industry will want to hear the great advice coming from publicist Cece Yorke. This is from Parker. Parker? Okay. So we all have people in our lives who post constantly. At what point does posting to social media go from productive to just annoying? Does putting things just to post ever do anything?
No, it never does anything but annoy people, so don't do that. I mean, I think that, I don't know, don't you all feel like when you look at your feed and when one person is just like dominating it, like you're gone, I can't bear it. No, I think that there's something to be said for oversharing and over-posting. So I would say, twice a day, unless something really, something's happening that you really need to share, 5 or 6 times a day. Twice a day keeps it fresh and keeps it going.
You mentioned writing a bio. I think that's interesting. Should every actor at every stage have written their life story as a bio, and what should that entail?
Every actor should be writing their bio, because if you're just putting it out there as a resume, it doesn't come to life and it doesn't mean anything. Truly, and I'm not just saying this because we're friends and neighbors and whatever, but
And we've known each other for more than a year.
right, and we've known each other for more than a year, but being able to say that you studied with Howard Fine and really describe even some of the courses that you've taken here, it really does go a long way. And even like I'm saying, it's about perception. You start in Greece. Well, okay, maybe it was in college or wherever it was, but being able to sort of put it in a grander context than just a line in your resume is huge, and it makes a really, really big difference. And it's all about how you position things and how you, really how you put it out there, how you're able to describe things. But I think every actor should have a bio. And there's a bio in all of you. There really is, and something really interesting to say. Even if it's also about including some of the charitable work that you've done, that kind of thing, I think it's really important to do.
Excellent. Ellery? Okay. Are there platforms that are an absolute must and some that can be skipped? I don't feel I have enough to say that is important enough to join Twitter.
Oh, you do have enough to say that's important to join Twitter. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not that much you need to say. That's the thing about Twitter. It's a couple of sentences. But even if it's just your thoughts on somebody else's performance and why you liked it, or whatever it is, encouragement for somebody else, or talking about what you did today at Howard's class. I think it's really important. I think Snapchat kind of is for what you all are doing. If you like it, you should do it. But I think that, it's kind of only around for however long it is, 24 hours, whatever it is. But for things, definitely Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, yeah, people are watching, and I think it's important. And if you have, new photos of yourself, you do photo shoot with a friend, whatever it is, to be able to post those kind of things, it's really, really helpful.
Thank you. Have you ever taken anybody who had absolutely nothing going on and helped create something?
No, I haven't, because it would be impossible to do. It's, you sort of, people are smarter than that, and you have to give people credit of what they're going to want to read and what they'll want to see. So I've certainly taken people who have done bad work and made it seem better than it was, but and no fault of their own, but they were in maybe a movie or a project that just wasn't well written, or it wasn't great. But we've been able to make it work. But in terms of if you have absolutely nothing to promote and nothing to talk about, no. And it wouldn't really be fair for somebody to hire a publicist and have to pay for that.
Do you think it works if actors are out in the social scenes, going to parties, trying to meet people? Is that a way of marketing yourself?
I do. I think that I think it depends on what you go to and where you're seen. Going to the opening of an envelope, no. Do I think, or being at the opening of every club? But if there are things, if you're invited to screenings, if you're invited to things like this, one of my clients, Anna DeVere Smith, has a movie coming out for HBO, Notes from the Field. And we just did a huge event at LACMA with Elvis Mitchell. And I have to tell you, I thought, it was packed, but that's something to really keep your eye on here in LA, what Elvis does. Elvis Mitchell with LACMA, it's free, you can go. We had an incredible turnout of producers and directors and people, other actors that showed up for this. And really, you never know. And I think the more exposure you have to our industry, the better.
When you are working with agents, what's a good agent, publicist, manager relationship? How does it work? How does the team work when somebody's got a really good team?
When somebody has a really good team, we're all speaking to each other. And an agent or manager will call and say, I really need some help showing this person that they've got a little more edge to them, or that they can play sexy, or they can do, they can be a school mom or a little more conservative. That we're all constantly in communication with each other, because what I may be hearing from the press may not be what an agent or manager is hearing from casting people and producers and studios. So we all need to be in really tight communication with each other so that we can effectively do our jobs to help each other.
Are you planning together a marketing strategy, or does that evolve?
It evolves, and we're fortunate that we work with managers and agents that like to be a part of that process and have really good instincts about it. And I think that's a good thing too when you're looking, particularly for a manager. I'm totally pro-manager. I think they do a fantastic job, and they certainly have a place in people's careers. That they are not just about the actual work, which they need to be using their contacts for that, but that they want to work with a publicist to help market and put it out there and be a part of that part of your career as well.
You brought up charity work, which I think is beautiful no matter what.
Absolutely.
But is that something you want your clients to find a charity that they can get behind?
Yes, but I think that's really important. But it has to be something that's true to them and organic for them. I mean, I don't want somebody, having their charity be a dog rescue and they've never owned a dog in their life. I mean, it's ridiculous, or it has to be something that, charity has to be something where you can speak from the heart and speak eloquently about it, and that it's meaningful to you. But we live in a town where these charitable organizations, almost every single one is backed by somebody in our industry, where it's a connection or a contact. And I think it's, like you said, charity is a beautiful thing, and it's great. I certainly have the ones that I support, but it's also a great way to meet people and to meet really good people that are doing great things in our industry. So I would encourage everyone to do that.
Jerry Halliwell, the lead singer of the Spice Girls, who's a former student, said the only good use of celebrity is to do charity work and to get a good table at a restaurant.
That's
It had no other use.
That's right.
Questions from Facebook. And I'm going to ask one more question that struck me that's here in the room. Brandon? Okay. If my name is really common, how do I get myself prominent on the search engines, including images? How do I get the blue check mark on Twitter?
I know. You need a publicist to get a blue check mark. No,
I know that. I knew that.
Yeah.
I just didn't know there was. You guys talk directly to Instagram.
Well, we do, because in all honesty, there's so many imposters out there that people pretend to be somebody else, and then you'll speak to them after they go, I don't have an Instagram. I don't have, and there's, one that's flourishing. So they do need real verification on that. You don't have to, people have the blue check mark without publicists. But you do have to have, the blue check mark has to sort of be verified by work and really how many followers and that kind of thing that you have. And in terms of, and what was
he has a common name.
Oh, you have a common name.
I'm the only one in SAG, so they can't have that.
Well, that's great. So there you go. Right?
You have that.
Right.
You can't have that. It won't be a professional, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that, again, it's just continuing to put your name out there. I don't really know how to. There's companies that say, oh, we'll get you on the front of Google, or, you'll be one of the top 5 names, and if you pay this, it doesn't work. So don't waste
It's
your...
just the other person has naked pictures on the thing, so that's why I'm just wondering how do I separate.
Good Lord.
Goodness.
Separate myself.
But they're not...
good, but I'm just But that's their life, so it's like getting my name disassociated with
that person.
With that person. That's what they have a middle name within my last name, so they have the whole name, their whole name. But
with their middle name.
Right,
but you just go by your first and last
Right.
name. Yeah, keep doing that. And if you want to put a disclaimer, I am not, branded naked pictures.
Cool.
Yeah, you're going to be so famous, that naked person's going to be gone.
I'm trying to follow that. Goodbye, naked person. Okay. This is from Facebook. It's from Mackenzie. What types of talent do you represent outside of actors, such as social media influencers? Some of our clients are social media influencers, but they're actors also, and they're very powerful on social media. But we represent musicians, authors, Bill Maher and Tim Gunn, who are hosts and comedians. So we represent the whole gamut of everything, because the truth is that, a long time ago, before you were all born, there used to be this grand divide. As in a year, there was a grand divide between television actors and film actors, and the two never crossed over. The press was entirely separate in the way that you would do it, and now, like I said, we're seeing people from social media that are becoming stars of their own TV show, and vice versa. So, we really, we cross all genres of artists. Have you found that social media profile factors into casting?
Yes, absolutely. I think more than ever we'll see that, like I said, producers, casting directors do their due diligence, and will go on and definitely they look at people's social accounts. Absolutely. And the same with the press before they decide if they're going to be, putting people in their
So
magazines.
if you're pitching someone, that factors in.
Oh, it absolutely does. Yeah.
This is personal curiosity. Are certain media outlets, such as, for example, the late night talk shows, are they territorial? If you place a client on one show,
Yeah.
does it get tricky?
It does get tricky. There's some that they have to go first. They're the big boys, and they're booked first. And then there are others that are happy to go after that. So, when there's a whole, it isn't just picking up
There's
the phone.
diplomacy.
Yes,
on
there
your end.
absolutely is. And it's also taking into account if a client has an action movie coming out as opposed to an art film, there are different places that you go with to find those audiences. So that's a really important part. Same with magazines and same with writers, that you're putting your client with the correct writer that would really embrace your client's work in whatever they're doing.
So that's something that they need to know when they're choosing a publicist. It's not throw it against the wall and see if it sticks.
No, absolutely not. I would say, my partner says this all the time. We say no more than we say yes to things with our clients. And knowing what to say no to is truly the most important thing that we do, because sometimes you feel like, well, should I do it? It's, they want me, but knowing what to say no to is just as important as knowing what to say yes to.
This is from Shay. Oh, there she is.
Hi.
How can we act as our own publicists for plays and self-produced projects, web series, etc.?
Well, that's a really good question, and this is something when you're in a project that maybe doesn't have the budget for a publicist or a distributor or something like that. So when you're in the process of your play, you want to make sure that you're getting photos of things right along of the process as you're going along, to be able to write bios for everyone, and then to be able to write a bio about the actual play that you're in. Those are the kind of things that you'll be able to use as tools then when you're going out to, if you're trying to get a review or somebody to write an article about the play, whatever it is, if it's Backstage West, or if it's the Daily News or the LA Times, whatever it is, then having those materials to really be able to go after the press that you want to do. And again, don't discount the power of the smaller podcast or online radio, those kind of things. All of that is really good experience, and like I said, it's something to sort of build what your press kit of what you'll be able to send out to people for the next thing. And for the next thing, it's all about perception.
And when a critic does come to the theater, what should they have to give them?
A big bottle of vodka. Don't give them that. No. Nothing. Don't give them anything.
No, but I mean a press kit. What would that be?
Well, you never want to really give a critic anything when they come to the theater, because they sort of want to go, if they're coming to review, you just want, whatever
Some
your
production
handout, your
stills
playbill. Well, when you've sent the invitation to them to come, it should go along with your bio, with your production notes, and with your production stills. So then if they come, they have everything. But they really just want to know that they're going to sort of be there incognito when it's for review. And so you just make sure that they have all of those things in advance, and then whatever your playbill is with the short bios and headshots.
I heard of it backfiring when the critic arrives and they get surrounded by friends of the production.
Yes, and don't, you just want to make them, they're just like everybody else out there. Yeah.
Please like our page. Please give us hearts. Please share us. Spread the good cheer. This is from Facebook. This is from Matthew. I often feel as though if I post something, it can affect the consistency of the image I put out there. For example, I often post humorous things. I feel as though if I post something serious or meaningful, it ruins that. What is your advice for people who have insecurities in regards to social media? Are there special therapists?
Yes, call your therapist.
So he's worried about the consistency of his image because he's known for posting
comedy?
humorous. Yeah.
For comedy? Well, I mean, certainly if that's sort of what you're known for, stick with that. But when it's heartfelt and it's called for, absolutely. I mean, I think people also want to know that comedians have a heart too, and you do, and people want to know that, you know, and it's fine to post sentimental things as well.
We are taking questions from the live audience. We're taking questions from Facebook, and I hope Australia is up and sending us questions. Hi, Phil Evans in Australia. This is from Facebook. This is from Mia. How does somebody become a publicist? What steps or credentials do you need?
None. You don't need to do anything. You know, I think that you need to be a multitasker. That's really the truth. We do 10 things at once. Absolutely, we do. I think being a good writer is certainly helpful. I love to write, and so that has been extremely helpful to me. Listen, having a background in sales and knowing your audience and who you're speaking to. But some of the really great publicists, you know, never went to college, never did, you know, I know now there's, you know, you can have a degree in public relations. That's great if that's what you want to do. The truth is, everybody's going to get started behind the reception desk. That's where I started. Everybody starts as an assistant, and then it's the only way to learn. And then you if you work hard enough, you work your way up, and then you're able to be a really glamorous Hollywood publicist.
I've often thought it's all about our relationships, having relationships over the years and being good to work with.
Yeah.
I think the era of bad behavior is over.
Oh, yes.
It's not glamorous anymore.
No.
But what do you look for in terms of your long-term relationships with agents, managers, casting directors? How does that work? What do you look for in a healthy exchange?
Well, somebody that is collaborative, that shares information, that comes to the table with ideas. I mean, I say this to my staff and the people that come in. I'll say, never come in here with a problem. It doesn't have to be the right solution, but at least come in here and say, maybe we can try. It may not be what we end up doing, but always have a solution or something to present. And, you know, I think that there are agents and managers that come and they'll just lay a problem down. Oh, fix this. Well, you know, we like to think that we're all sort of in this together, and that it's a process that we can speak through, because it's about your career and how you're going to be positioned, you know, in our industry. So that's really what we look for: agents and managers that have great connections, that are collaborative, and that are hardworking. They're not just waiting for the phone to ring, but they're putting calls out there, and creative also.
Do you think that it's necessary that actors move at some point to the biggest agencies, or have you not always seen that work?
I've seen it work and I've seen it not work. You know, I think there's something to be said for agents and managers that got you to where you're going. I really do. And there's, you know, it's really hard for people to ever have the kind of enthusiasm for you than the people that got you there. You know, you're their babies and they're the ones that got you there. But I've certainly seen it where clients have moved and gone to bigger agencies and their careers have flourished. The truth is, no matter what agency you're at, you have one agent that you connect with. And if it's that one person, if it's the biggest agency or the smallest agency, you go to the place where someone's going to work the hardest for you and they think about you 24/7. That's really what you're looking for.
Have you ever helped actors get an appointment or an audition through various contacts?
Yeah, I guess I have. I've had.
I don't mean to out you and
No,
your sources and methods.
No, I mean I have, because I have. It isn't really what we do, but I've known that I was going to have a client on a talk show, And I called the director and said, you might want to tune in tonight because she's going to be on this talk show tonight. And she's kind of speaking about a movie you're going to be doing or that subject. And then she was cast in the film. So, yeah, I mean, in that way, you know, where it's organic. But no, I don't get too involved in, you know. The
day-to-day of that.
No, not at all.
This is from Australia. Hi, Robin Hasty. You're up.
They're away.
If an Australian actor has acting credits in Australia and is looking at approaching the US market, would you consider taking them based on their Australian success?
If you had something to promote, even if it was in Australia, you know, we're such a global world now. I mean, we really are. Things that are happening in Australia or articles that have been written in Australia come here to the US. I mean, nothing ever stays in sort of one place. But I think that you would have to, no matter what it is, you'd have to have something to promote that's coming out. Yeah, absolutely, and we have.
And do you feel it's important for the Australian actors to have a really good American accent in their repertoire?
Yes, I do. And I have to tell you, too, I think the Australians are the most brilliant at having an American accent.
They can do us. We cannot do them for the life of them.
What is that?
I don't
But they can totally do us, you know? I mean, really, it's sort of like amazing when Nicole Kidman starts speaking, you know, with her accent. You go, oh, I forgot, you know, 'cause she's just so brilliant at that. Yeah, but I think it is... you know, I think we live in a world now where Australia, Toledo, wherever you are, news is news and everything gets pushed around.
Right. This is from Facebook, and please like us, please give us hearts, please share our page. I hope everybody you know is tuning in for this world-class advice. This is from Calvin, this is from Facebook. Tell us about paparazzi. What is a publicist's role with this? Do you try and help clients avoid them, or do you purposely tip them off?
Never tip them off. No. Not my clients. You know, we do. It depends on what it is. I mean, we do try to avoid them when we can. It can be a safety issue, depending on, you know, where you are. If, you know, we're in another city coming out of a hotel, I've been nearly crushed by paparazzi. Believe me, the security people aren't looking out for me. They're looking out for, you know, my client and who's ever ahead of, you know, of that. But no, we don't really call the paparazzi for our clients. And you know, people like their privacy, and if they don't want to know people to really know where they live, what kind of car they drive, that kind of thing, it can be a nuisance.
It can be dangerous.
And dangerous, absolutely, yeah.
This is from Facebook, this is from Adam. If someone wanted to attract the attention of A-list talent to promote their own work, I'm guessing that Adam may be a writer, is there a right way to do this? Would we contact the publicist?
No, do not contact me. There is nothing we're actually not allowed to accept scripts or any kind of material like that. We have to get rid of it right away. All of that has to be submitted through, but I'm so glad you asked, because
it's a great question.
It is a fantastic question, because we get things like that where somebody, and it is probably the most brilliant script, and it could be the absolute right thing for our clients. We're not allowed to accept any kind of materials like that. So it really, you know, first of all, get it registered with the Writers Guild. Make sure you've done that so you're covered, and then it really does need to be submitted to their agents, hopefully through your agent if you have one, and if you don't, then if the celebrity has a production company, usually they'll have a production executive that's running that, and you can submit it through that way also.
Right. This is from a writer who's present here. Deanna? Oh, there you are.
Hello.
Okay. You are looking for a good literary agent for a book, to get a book published. Is there a way to go about that?
I don't I mean, we certainly work with literary agents, but I don't know. Our clients are actually actors or celebrities of some kind that they have subsequently written a book. So we work with the literary departments of their agencies. So I don't really honestly know how you would go about getting a literary agent. I don't know if you submit your your work to them and hope that someone reads it. I do want to say this though, that is really important. Never ever discount the power of the assistant. So the assistant to the literary agent or the assistant to a theatrical agent. I was an assistant to a very, very powerful manager, Lois Zetter.
Oh God, Lamont Zetter.
Yeah. And
They're the people who made John Travolta.
They represented everybody.
Sure.
And really smart young actors found me and would reach out to me. And, I went to showcases, and if there was somebody that I liked, I would let Lois know, and I loved going to them and seeing all of that. So listen, these assistants today are the agents of tomorrow. They're going to be the big guys, the studio heads. They move on. And so never discount the power of an assistant and being able to, they're more approachable, easier to get information to, and they're never behind that desk for very long. And those are the people that you really want to know.
That's great advice. This is from Facebook, and send us your questions. Is Robin the only person up in Australia?
Wake up, Australia!
The rest of my studio is up. We'll take questions via Facebook. We'll take questions from the live audience. This is from Facebook. This is from Sean. What's the most common thing we can change right now to be more effective and authentic in our publicity? Bless you.
More authentic and...
Yeah, what's the most common thing we can change right now to be more effective and authentic in our publicity?
Well, I think it's...
You said get rid of the postings of food.
Yeah, stop posting food, and there's no need to post, too many pictures of your dogs. And
Too many of our...
It can never...
Our
My dog.
Her dog has an Instagram page.
Its own Instagram page. So I think that it's, again, really about, as much as you can, that you really, instead of trying to show your ex-boyfriend how great you look, really know that this is about using this as an extension of your work and you as an artist. And really think about it that way. Think about it if you were sitting there and you were a producer or casting person and they looked at your page, would they find it compelling enough to really want to bring you in on something? And
I think what you said about writing the bio.
And writing the bio, absolutely. I think writing the bio, and again, please don't over Facetune your faces. I can't tell, people are looking cartoonish and like mannequins and craziness, that it looks like you, but with the best wardrobe and the best lighting that it
That's
can
even
be.
possibly
Yeah,
better.
exactly.
Let's take some questions from the live audience. Is there anybody that wants to ask something that hasn't been asked that is sitting here? Yes.
We haven't talked about actor websites. I'd love to hear any thoughts about that.
I think that 7 years ago, actor websites really had a place and a presence, but now, even for everyone, nobody uses those really anymore. It's really all about Instagram and about Twitter, Instagram more, and about Facebook. So I don't think that, I really don't think that websites, it's not worth the investment, and they're usually dead, most of them. You'll see it and then it just looks like one thing one time and that's it. So it's hard to sort of keep them fresh and up to date.
Yes.
I have two questions. The first being, how does social media affect certain opportunities? And the second one being, how to publicize, on social media in general,
Well, I think how to publicize on social media without being really annoying is that you're not over posting about something and that you're really posting interesting and good looking content. You know, I'm always so shocked, including, you know, clients before I start working with them, and I'll look at it and I'll go, this is such an ugly picture. Why is this on here? It's so not flattering of you, or it's so uninteresting. I think you really always want to keep content fresh and as vibrant and as good looking as you can. And, you know, and again, just that needs to be an extension of you and who you are. And that may mean instead of like one selfie, you know, you're taking 20 and picking the best one off of that. And also, not everything has to be a selfie. You know, hand the phone over to somebody else and get it. Really, you know.
We haven't talked about reels. What makes a good demo reel? And is that something you end up getting involved in?
You know, we don't get involved in acting demo reels, but we do get involved in reels of our clients once they've done interviews. And
so there's a publicity reel.
There's a publicity reel,
So
yes.
let's talk about that, because I don't think a lot of people know about that.
It's called an electronic press kit. So in that would also be magazine articles, interviews, on-camera interviews that people have done. If people have written first-hand pieces, those would be in there as well. So, you know, I think what we try to show, certainly on talk shows, and depending what it is, if it's late night or if it's news, you know, a snippet of something that can show somebody being clever and incredible and looking great all in 30 seconds.
Oh, good Lord.
I know, exactly. But it can be done. And I think also, you know, obviously for magazines, whatever stories are the most compelling and the most interesting. And for our clients that are a little more newsy, that they're really able to sort of articulate and explain the, you know, whatever it is that they're speaking about, whatever, you know, issue it is. But yeah, there are electronic press kits, and those go out to all the media. And it's the thing that, you know, you start, it's like acting. You start with smaller projects and gradually they become bigger. And that's how it is with publicity as well. You may be in a smaller publication or an online publication, and if it's done properly, you're able to have that grow.
Right. We're going to take a few more questions from Facebook. Please like our page. Please share this event. Please give us hearts. We're in the final. Okay, go ahead, and then we go into the show.
As a seasoned actor, someone who's been around for a few years, I've seen social media in the past several, where it seems as if everybody thinks they can be an actor.
Mm-hmm.
And they get exposure, millions of hits, and then studios go, put that person in a movie. And then a year later, they don't have the talent to back it up.
Right.
Do you foresee a tipping point where those powers that be go, you know what, it's actually the talented ones who've been at it and who are actually working at it deserve those opportunities? Do you see sort of a shift away from the importance of followers or an influencer
or
who
reality
doesn't have,
television?
Yeah, reality television, you know?
I'll be honest with you, reality television's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, but I don't think that it's taking jobs away from you guys. I don't. I think that those people do what they do, and actors, but I understand what you're saying, where influencers are suddenly, you know, being cast in studio movies and those kind of things. Listen, at the end of the day, if you don't have the chops to make it, you're going to get bad reviews. People don't want to see it. They're not going to go. Studios are smart enough to get, or networks, they're smart enough to understand that, you know, that's not going to put money in their pocket either. I think that there's certainly a saturation point, but where we are now with you know, Amazon and Netflix and cable television, network TV, feature films. Facebook is going to be, you know, they're going to be providing their own content and series. YouTube. I think it's a really exciting time to be an actor. There's never been a better time. You know, it used to be this big. There was only this much of the pie because, and you know this too, there were 4 networks, there were 4 studios. That's it. There's not enough to make a living off of that. And where we are now, there's so many exciting opportunities for you guys. But I have to say, followers matter. You know, it does. It's sort of like how people can sort of determine the interest level in you, and it's meaningful. It's meaningful to advertisers because they want to know that, you know, people, if they're following you on Facebook or Instagram, the odds are they're going to want to tune in to see you in something as well.
Do you get involved in the commercial end of things?
Well, when clients have commercial campaigns or those kind of things, we don't get them the actual commercial work, but we work then with the creative and those kind of things for people. Yeah, we do.
This is from James, Facebook. Can you tell us any personal stories, perhaps a horror story or particularly memorable success story?
Let's see.
Good for you, James.
Yeah.
Ask the publicist for the dirt.
Well, I'm not naming names because I'd be a horrible publicist if I did that. But
Unless you wanted to tell a nice story.
yeah, I guess if I wanted to tell a nice story.
That's how I do it. That's how I do it. If I'm going to share
you
something
do it.
nice, I'll say who it is,
You do?
as we did with Heather.
Yes.
And if I have to say something horrible, I will say it without ever saying it.
Yeah.
But I'll tell the story so people can learn from it.
Yes. Well, I have to say, all of my clients are wonderful, and they're all very, very nice. And I'm trying to think, like, what was sort of, you know, I think that when somebody gets their first big cover, like if it's a Vogue or Vanity Fair, or, you know, they win their first Oscar or Emmy or whatever it is, when you've been a part of a process of something like that, I mean, you really feel like, you know, you kind of at least deserve to hold it and get your picture taken with it and post it on Facebook or Instagram, you know. But I have to say that it really is so gratifying when you really know that the work that you're doing is making a difference in somebody's career.
And has the client ever done something really, again, without naming it, really destructive that made your job so much harder?
Absolutely, you know, absolutely they have. And we've had to be, you know, involved on a very deep level with our clients when things like that happen. And, you know, hopefully things work themselves out. But they have, you know, listen, there's something in all of us where we stumble, where we fall, where, and things happen. And that's really when you need people around you to show support. You have entered into a business where you're exposing your life to the world. Something's going to happen to everyone and to every single one of you as an actor. The more you find, it's sort of the old saying, be careful what you wish for. Because with fame comes great responsibility, and you live under a microscope. You really, really do. So, and that can be extremely stressful, you know, in itself. So we really try to manage that as much as we can for our clients because it's very, very stressful.
That's a great issue. Have you seen fame bring out the best and on the flip side bring out the worst?
Sure, I have, yeah. You know, the best is where I see my clients using their fame for the greater good, you know, of people, where they're able to use their celebrity to make change. You know, I represent Alyssa Milano, and what she's done is nothing short of, you know, for our industry, it's miraculous. She's a powerhouse. She is a force of nature. And I've represented Alyssa since she was very young, and I just, when I think about her, my heart just swells because she's a phenomenal actress. She's been doing this since she was young. She could rest on her laurels, and she doesn't. She is out there, and she is,
Fighting for change.
she is. And nobody knows it better than Alyssa. Nobody knows this business better. And when I see what she does, it really, it gives me so much, I have so much gratitude, for my work and what I do, and that I'm able to help her with that.
Great. This is from Phil Evans in Australia. Good morning, Phil. Phil's actually British, though.
Hello, Phil.
He runs our studio in Australia. Marilyn will be joining you in a week. If our Facebook, Instagram profile is not in our stage name, how important do you think it is to secure that territory?
So what's Phil?
So he has two different names, Phil Evans, but he also goes by Phil Hayden. He tends to work under Phil Hayden.
Yeah.
I think it was because of Australian equity.
Oh, okay.
The one name was taken. So should they match, or how important is it to try to get them?
Phil, get matching. You got to. Why? You have to. It's marketing, so you have to associate your face with your name, your theatrical name.
That you're going to be using as an actor, because
Yes,
people get confused.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. One more from Facebook, and then I think we're coming into our wrapping up. Yes, there it is. There's the time warning.
Oh.
Okay, this is from Facebook. I don't know if she's in London or here. It's from Andy Osho, who's one of our dear students. On a new mid to large scale TV show, I think she's talking about herself, where the network and or production company already have a publicity team, should actors get their own publicist to capitalize on the show's launch?
It depends. I mean, I'd have to know more sort of about the show, how big the cast is, and who the other actors are. So all things being equal, if it's an ensemble cast and everybody is equal and the same, then I would say it's worth it for you to look into getting a publicist, because it's the only way you're going to be able to break out from the pack. It's not the only way, but it's a very good way. It's a good investment to make into that. If you're a part of a series, but you have 2 lines in every episode, and then there are bigger actors, wait until the first season and then see where it goes. I always really try to be conscious of the finances that go into this, because it's an investment, and it's an investment in your career. And if the timing isn't right, it can be, you can be squandering money that you don't have. So it really is about the right project at the right time.
So is there a potential backfire if you try to make too much out of not enough?
There is a potential. I wouldn't say it's potential backfire. I just say you're not going to get the return for what you're putting into it. So you really want to make sure that you're putting in, that the project that you're speaking about is, you're showcased enough that it makes sense. That the media would be interested in speaking with you about it.
Right. This is from Australia. It's from Fallon Ryan. May we please have examples of people who you believe are executing their social media with a focus on their expertise that you think are executing across the platforms beautifully? So can you think of folks who are doing this well? Alyssa Milano being one.
Yes, she is. I mean, absolutely. I mean, she certainly is very political in the way, that she speaks and puts things out there. Bill Maher, the same thing. He, on his Facebook and his Twitter, I think for...
Anna Devere Smith would be another.
Yeah, she is. She's just remarkable. And, everything that she says or puts out there has such wisdom, and she's really unbelievable. I think Kristen Bell, my partner represents Kristen Bell. she's just brilliant on social media. One, she's beautiful, but she's hilarious, and she can, I mean, you know, I think one of the funniest things I ever read was Kristen. She was taking an Uber, and it was when they had first started Uber Pool, and she thought it was like a pool, like we're gonna go swimming, so she did Uber Pool, and she got into her Uber, and there was a guy in there, and she was like, hello, and he said, oh yes, you know, this is Uber Pool. Well, she tweeted to all of us her entire trip in Uber Pool. It was hysterical. And really, it just shows how clever and funny, you know, she really is. I think that a great thing to do is to go to Instagram and take a look at who has massive followers. And I think the common denominator that you're going to see is some kind of their pages look uniform. There isn't one blurry photo, you know, of a dog in the distance and then one like glamorous headshot. You're going to be seeing a real consistency in that. I represent Catherine Zeta-Jones, and she has been only growing her social media really for the past 2 years, and it has grown by leaps and bounds. But she makes her own little movie vignettes and puts those in there. She's a phenomenal tap dancer. She did 45 seconds of her tap dancing and put that on Instagram. And she's an interior designer. She's a brilliant interior designer, and she has, you know, showcased that as well. But there's a real consistency in the way her page looks on Instagram. And I think it's interesting to sort of look at that, and then, and like I said, she has gained followers, and she has an interesting page, you know.
You seem to really be advocating for actors to have a wide variety of interests beyond, I want to be a star.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's really important. Again, you know, charity, but on the same hand, like you were saying, you've seen actors, and I have too, where they're, you know, it's workout videos or whatever. Don't do that. No, don't do that. You want to still stay true to your craft if that's what you want to be doing. But I think it's really interesting for people to know that you're diverse and that you're present and you actually live in our world, you know, that you're not just taking selfies day in and day out.
Any final thoughts, Cece, of anything we didn't ask you or anything you want to share to wrap up?
Well, you're all going to need me one day, so don't forget that I gave up my Saturday. And I'm looking forward to it because and I'm not just saying this, I see a lot of really great looking actors out there and talented faces, and I see a lot of potential, and I hope you guys are all going to stick with it, because, you know, whether it's an A, a B, or a C, it really, that's what our business is. No matter what we're doing, it's really sticking with it, and you know, and remembering the people that got you there. That's the most important thing. I would say that also. And you're in really good hands here. You really are. There's nobody like Howard, and you're really fortunate to be here and be a part of this whole process. And I am honored that you all gave up your Saturdays to be here with me too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.